Ladies and gentlemen, I will now call to order this public hearing held by the Board of Trustees of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. I'd like to thank those members of the public who have come here this evening and are watching on YouTube. We appreciate your interest. An electronic recording of these proceedings will be made. I am Vice Chairman Jim Fall, a member of the Metropolitan Sewer District of the City of St. Louis. With me today is Trustee Jim Singer. And here this evening, present on the phone is MSD Trustee Jim Singer. This hearing is being held on the district's fiscal year 2021 proposed budget, proposed capital improvement and replacement program, or CIRP, user charges and tax rates. This hearing follows the Public Trustee Committee meetings held in March and May to review the proposed budget, CIRP, and tax rates for the coming fiscal year. The purpose of this hearing is to offer the public the opportunity to understand and comment on the district's proposed budget and taxes for the coming year. To present all this information in a timely manner and to ensure everyone has an opportunity to address the Board of Trustees on the information provided this evening, we have established the following guidelines for conducting the hearing. These guidelines are as follows. Everyone upon entering the hearing via the internet will be shown in attendance, and if anyone on site has not registered, I ask you that you please do so at this time. Those individuals who wish to speak and are present in person should return their speaker's card to the security guard, or if attending by live stream, must have previously submitted their comment to Tamara Clinton by noon today. Individuals present will be recognized to ask their questions or make their comments in the order in which the responses are received, or if they have submitted comments online, they will be read by the presiding board member or his designee. So that everyone has the chance to address the Board of Trustees, we ask that each individual limit their dialogue to 5 minutes and confine their questions or comments to the material presented this evening. Comments will be accepted at the close of the presentation. The Board of Trustees will accept additional written comments until Wednesday, May 20th. The proposed tax rate, budget ordinance, and the wastewater rate ordinance were formally introduced at our regular scheduled monthly meeting held earlier this evening. Final adoption of the tax, budget, and wastewater rate ordinances is tentatively scheduled for the board meeting to be held June 11th, 2020. Okay. If everyone will follow these guidelines, we should have a very informative, productive hearing and get out of here at a reasonable time. Mr. Holscher, will you please proceed?
Thank you, Vice Chair Fall. I'd like to note for the record that a notice of this hearing was posted in the following publications: the St. Louis American, the St. Louis Business Journal, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch Suburban Journals, and was also posted on MSD's website. In addition, since notices were forwarded prior to the current social restrictions, additional notices were published identifying the method by which the public could view and participate in this hearing remotely. I will offer affidavits of the publication notice for the official record of this hearing. I'll go ahead and begin the PowerPoint presentation. On slide one. Okay, I would now like to present a brief overview of the state of the district and the budget for the coming year. As a public organization fulfilling an essential public need, we have an obligation to serve and be accountable to our ratepayers. With that in mind, voters residing within the boundaries of the district approved a series of MSD-sponsored proposals in the November 2000 ballot. These proposals represented a series of amendments to MSD's original charter, which was adopted in 1954. Among the amendments that voters approved in 2000 was a requirement for a continuing 5-year strategic business and operating plan to be adopted on an annual basis by the district's Board of Trustees. Mission, vision, value statements are an important piece of a strategic business plan. The district's vision statement, "Quality Service Always," points to the district's ideal purpose. The district's mission statement, "To protect the public's health, safety, and water environment by responsibly providing wastewater and stormwater management," keeps the district focused on its essential role in the St. Louis community. The values stated in the strategic business plan and operating plan serve as the principles that shape our actions and guide the organization as we fulfill our mission. As shown on this and the next slide, MSD values integrity, teamwork, innovation, employees, and customers. Goals are essential ingredients necessary for the success of the district. The strategic business and operating plan has 4 goals. They are deliver consistent, high-quality customer service, comply with all legal and regulatory requirements and schedules, minimize customer rate increases, and be accountable to the St. Louis community. To achieve the goals of the Strategic Business and Operating Plan, we developed 6 strategies. The strategies identify initiatives that are critical to fulfilling the district's mission and vision. They are to inform, educate, and partner to build stakeholder understanding, manage the district's costs and revenues to optimize financial impacts, integrate and improve the district's business processes, promote appropriate standards through proactive regulatory and legislative involvement, address customer and regulatory needs through a comprehensive infrastructure management program, and create a learning and business-oriented culture based on competency and accountability. The Strategic Business Plan and Operating Plan is tied to the budgeting process to ensure that initiatives are properly funded. If fiscal constraints require reduced funding for the plan, the costs of strategic objectives are identified so that proper decisions can be made. The district had a number of highlights in fiscal year 2020, including another award-winning year thanks to the efforts of our staff. MSD received the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, or NACWA, Excellence in Management Platinum recognition, the highest award in that category. The award recognizes water utilities that have adopted or made progress toward implementing management practices that address unique features and challenges facing the industry today. MSD again received the Peak Performance Awards from NACWA, recognizing wastewater treatment facilities for their outstanding compliance records with their National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit. The Fenton, Lower Merrimack, and Missouri River wastewater treatment plants were honored with platinum awards for maintaining a perfect compliance record over a consecutive 5-year period. The Fenton and Lower Merrimack plants have received the platinum award for 11 consecutive years. Lime and Grand Glaze treatment plants received gold awards for achieving 100% compliance for an entire calendar year. And the Bissell Point and Coldwater treatment plants received the Silver Award, which recognizes wastewater treatment facilities that have received no more than 5 permit violations per calendar year. The Government Finance Officers Association awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation honor to the district for the 33rd consecutive year, the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 31st consecutive year, and the Popular Annual Financial Reporting Award for the 7th year in a row. Our engineering and operations departments teamed up to receive a grant through the Volkswagen Diesel Emissions Environmental Mitigation Trust Program, administered by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Air Pollution Control Program. The grants are awarded on a competitive basis to replace certain diesel vehicles with newer and cleaner operating diesel vehicles that emit fewer pollutants to improve air quality in Missouri. In fiscal year 2019, MSD was awarded $300,000 to defray the cost to replace 5 Cobra and Vector trucks. In fiscal year 2020, MSD was awarded $235,000 to defray the cost of replacing 7 Cobra trucks. We are finalizing an application to compete for another $338,000 to help replace 8 boom hoist dump trucks. Also, MSD won the 2019-2020 St. Louis chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects Civic Stewardship Award for Project Clear's effort to protect the water environment. For many years, as part of MSD's procurement process, we have had policies in place to develop and grow minority and women-owned business enterprises and to help ensure these firms are appropriately represented in our contracting. With the historic levels of spending associated with MSD Project Clear, we expanded our efforts to include workforce diversity on our capital projects. In fiscal year 2019, our most recently completed fiscal year, MWBE construction firms received over $50 million, or 29.6% of payments made on active construction projects, and received $24.3 million, or 20%, of project commitments for new construction work. MWB design firms were paid $15.6 million, accounting for 40% of MSD's total spend on design services. Minorities and women represented 36.83% of the total construction workforce hours, which equates to more than 2 million hours worked on MSD active construction projects. In the current fiscal year, 2020, MWBs have been paid nearly $29 million, or 25.6% on active construction projects, and $18.8 million, or 22%, in new commitments. Minority and women design firms have been paid more than $8 million, or close to 46% of all of MSD's total spend for professional services as of December 31st, 2019. As for Proposition Y, which sought voter approval for the issuance of bonds to fund our capital improvement and replacement program, MSD filed petitions with both the City of St. Louis and St. Louis County courts on March 23, 2020. Both courts agreed with our petition to remove Prop Y from the general municipal election ballot if such removal can be accomplished without unreasonable difficulty and not less than 8 weeks before the date of the election, June 2, 2020. In the alternative, the election board shall not tabulate any votes cast on MSD Prop Y in the general municipal election, as the election will be rescheduled. The district intends to place Prop Y back on the April 2021 ballot. Our continued commitment to diversity, which included an update of the disparity study and the wastewater rate proposal, will be at the forefront of our efforts in fiscal year 2021. MSD has commissioned an update of our 2012 disparity study to ensure continuation of a fair and equitable contracting award system for ready, willing, and able minority and women business enterprises. The update will again evaluate the utilization of minorities and women in the workforce on MSD projects. The results will be released this coming fiscal year. Proposition Y, which will determine how MSD funds $1.58 billion worth of capital improvements from fiscal year 2022 through fiscal year 2024, will still be decided by voters in the City of St. Louis and St. Louis County on April 2021. Postponing the election will have no impact on wastewater rates in fiscal year 2021. Organizationally, the budget anticipates funding 1,026 positions in fiscal year 2021. How well we serve our customers is a strong measure of MSD success. Thus, we are committed to being staffed at a level that is appropriate for the community's needs, yet makes responsible use of the resources entrusted to us by the public. Our current staffing level allows us to fulfill that commitment. The fiscal year 2021 budget contains operating expenses of $221.0 million, with $200.8 million for wastewater and $20.2 million for stormwater. A capital program of $391.7 million, with $366.7 million for wastewater program projects and $25 million for stormwater projects. Debt service cost of $121.3 million. This results in a total district expense of $734.0 million for fiscal year 2021. The wastewater service charge ordinance is scheduled for adoption on June 11, 2020, will increase the typical monthly single-family residential charge for wastewater service based on 6 CCFs from $55.57 to $56.40 per month. This represents a 1.5% or 83 cent per month increase. I will now ask Marion G., MSD's Director of Finance, to present the expenditures for the upcoming fiscal year.
Thank you, Mr. Hosher. I will now present the proposed general fund expenditures for fiscal year 2021. The general fund portion of the budget represents the expenses related to the day-to-day operation of the district. The total general fund operating budget for fiscal year 21, including incremental expenses, is $209 million, an increase of $4.2 million, or 2% from the FY20 budget. The general fund operating budget consists of 5 major categories, the largest being professional services, representing 53% of the total budget. This category primarily includes expenses such as regular salaries, payroll taxes, medical insurance costs, pension plan contributions, and district obligations to retired employees. The proposed personnel services budget for the 2021 fiscal year totals $116.8 million, which is $262,000 or less than 1% higher than the current FY20 budget year. This includes an average 3% salary increase in funds and net reduction of one full-time position for a total staff of 1,026, offset by decreases of $811,000, including reductions in the defined benefit and defined contribution plans, a decrease of $760,000 related to less temporary staffing required, and a decrease of $269,000 related to a reduction in general insurance costs. The district is proposing an $18 million supplies budget for fiscal year 2021, which comprises 8% of the general fund budget. This proposed supply budget represents a $519,000 increase or a 3% change from the current year's budget. Utilities represent 8% or $17 million of next year's proposed general fund budget. This represents a $184,000 increase or a 1% change from the current year's budget. Contractual services budgeted for fiscal year 2021 are $63 million or 28% of the general fund budget and reflects a 7% or a $4 million increase from the fiscal year 20 budget. Capital outlay totals $7 million, representing 3% of the district's general fund budget. The capital outlay budget for fiscal year 2021 decreased by $34,000 or less than 1% compared to fiscal year 20. Additional details covering the district's general fund budget may be found in the general section of the fiscal year 2021 budget document. The preliminary budget document is available on MSD's website. The following table provides a comparison of the district's proposed operations and maintenance costs for fiscal year 2021 through fiscal year 23 to the rate plan. This plan was recommended by the MSD Rate Commission on August 16th of 2019 and approved by the district's Board of Trustees on October 10th of 2019. As indicated, the district's 3-year operations and maintenance expenses are projected to be $677 million compared to $660 million outlined in the rate plan. This represents a $16.7 million or a 2.5% increase. This concludes the general fund expense portion of the budget presentation. Tim Snoke, the district secretary-treasurer, will provide a review of the district's debt service obligations anticipated for the 2021 fiscal budget year. Tim.
Thank you, Marion. I will now present the proposed debt service expenditures for fiscal year 2021. The district successfully obtained voter approval for $500 million of bond issuances in February 2004, $275 million in August 2008, and $945 million in June 2012. All of these authorizations were fully utilized. On April 5, 2016, voters authorized the district to issue another $900 million, and the district has issued $301.6 million to date against this authorization. In fiscal year 2021, the budget anticipates the district will issue $148.7 million against the authorization. The total debt service expense proposed for fiscal year 2021 is $121.3 million. This expense reflects the debt service payments due in fiscal year 2021 associated with all bonds issued since April 2004, including the planned issuance of $148.7 million in the proposed budget year. The following table provides a comparison of the district's projected debt service costs to the 2019 rate plan for fiscal year 21 through fiscal year 23. As indicated, the district's 3-year debt service expenses are projected to be $398 million compared to $430 million outlined in the rate plan. This represents a $32 million or 7% decrease from the rate plan projections. The decrease in debt service is due to refinancing at lower rates and lower market rates than projected in the rate plan. This concludes the debt service portion of the budget presentation. Rich Unverfurth, Director of Engineering, will now provide a review of the anticipated capital improvement and replacement program for the 2021 fiscal year. Rich?
Thank you, Tim. The following slides are a review of the fiscal year 2021 Capital Improvement and Replacement Program, or CIRP. The budget supplement, which provides details on capital program. We will review a program summary, a continued projects list summary, a contingency list summary, and discuss some of the benefits of the capital program. This presentation is based on the final budget supplement and updates some of the information presented to the district's Finance Committee on March 31st, 2020, and it matches the information presented to the district's Finance Committee on May 5th, last week. The fiscal year 2021 CRP consists of 158 new wastewater and stormwater budget items, budgeted for a total of $366 million. These items include engineering and construction services, together with 11 projects totaling $26 million carried over from fiscal year 2020. The total budget for the fiscal year 2021 Capital Improvement Program is $392 million. The final budget supplement includes a net decrease of two project budget items over that was noted in the preliminary budget. Program changes have resulted in a net increase or net decrease of $11 million in total new project budgeting for this coming year. Changes in the program between the final and preliminary budgets represents normal scheduling and cost estimating changes that occur as our projects progress through the design and easement acquisition process. 9 new budget items have been added since the preliminary budget, representing 4 new wastewater engineering budget items, 3 new wastewater construction items, and 2 new stormwater construction items. New projects will be detailed in the next slides, and specific detail sheet for each of the new projects are available at this public hearing. 11 budget items have been removed since the preliminary budget was published. The removed items include projects determined not to be needed, or supplemental appropriations that were determined not to be needed, or projects were expedited and appropriated in the current fiscal year. And additionally, there were projects rescheduled to future fiscal years. There is a net of 1 additional continued project. A new wastewater and 1 new stormwater project were added to this budget supplement, and 1 was removed that did not need to be continued. Overall, the capital improvement program for the fiscal year 2021 has decreased by $11.5 million from the preliminary budget presented to the board on March 31st, 2020. The next slide represents 7 new wastewater projects that have been added since the preliminary budget, 4 for engineering services and 3 for construction services. The engineering related items are, and I'm going to describe each one and what they're proposing. The first one is the Cox Creek Force Main Rehabilitation. This will rehabilitate 30,000 feet of 20 to 24 inch force main in the Missouri River watersheds. I will note that since this presentation was put together, that project has been deleted and we no longer need that project. Second project is the Harlem-Baden Relief Phase 4 Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation. This will construct approximately 109,000 square feet of shotcrete liner, 1,240 feet of CIPP or cured in place lining, and 6,400 square feet of point repairs on this sewer. The next item is the Lower Merrimack Wastewater Treatment Facility corrosion and humidity control improvements. This project will construct improvements to reduce humidity and replace corroded elements in the Lower Merrimack pump station. The following is the pump station repair and improvement design contract A. It is design of various pump station improvement facility projects. On this next slide are 3 construction related items. The first being the Baden City Shed Mitigation Basin project. This project will construct 4 stormwater detention basins and 3 rain gardens. The next item is the Cox Creek Force Main Wetland Bypass Project. This will construct 1,000 feet of 30-inch diameter force main. The Mini Avenue to Greenhaven Storm Sewer Separation Project will construct 448 feet of 12-inch to 18-inch diameter storm sewer. On the following slide, 2 new storm projects have been added since the preliminary budget. Both of these projects were added for construction purposes. They are Louisiana and Holly Hills Storm Sewer. This project will construct 260 feet of 12 to 15-inch storm sewers. And the Stormwater Infrastructure Repair Rehabilitation fiscal year 2021. This project will construct cured-in-place pipe installation for stormwater system rehabilitation and repair as needs are identified by sewer cleaning and inspection efforts. The following is a list of projects that were continued from the current fiscal year. There are 11 continued budget items at a total cost of $26 million included in the fiscal year 2021 capital program. 7 have been delayed to allow time for required coordination with other agencies. 2 have been delayed pending completion of ongoing construction on earlier phases of the projects. 2 have been delayed due to the required project rebidding, and there is a net of 1 additional continued item. 1 item was rescheduled to a later fiscal year. 2 additional items were added due to necessary rebids, and those projects were the DeGiverville Combined Sewer Improvement Project and the Kaiser Waller Avenue Storm Sewer Project. There are a total of 41 contingency project budget items detailed in the fiscal year 2021 budget. 32 of these items are wastewater projects or supplemental funding for ongoing wastewater construction projects budgeted in fiscal year 2022 at a total of $200 million. 9 are stormwater projects totaling $4 million. These projects could be expedited into fiscal year 2021 if schedule allows and funding becomes available. Funding becomes available if other projects are delayed or if contract costs come in under budget due to competitive bidding. There are 7 wastewater contingency budget items that have been added to the budget since the preliminary budget. These added projects will be detailed on the next 2 slides. These are the contingency projects for the new contingency projects for fiscal year 2021. 4 of the new wastewater contingency projects added since the preliminary budget are the Coldwater Sanitary Relief Sections B, C, and D Rehabilitation Project, the Earth City Expressway Pump Station Replacement Project, the Geyer Sanitary Relief and Windsor Springs Storage Project, and the Linworth Storm Sewer Separation Project. The other 3 wastewater contingency projects added since the preliminary budget are the Shrewsbury Sanitary Relief and I&I Reduction, the St. Jacques Sanitary Relief, the Tulane Wilbur Outfall Sanitary Relief Sewer Project. These new contingency projects would replace or rehabilitate aging infrastructure, provide sanitary sewer relief, reduce private inflow and infiltration, and eliminate sanitary sewer outfalls if they're allowed to be expedited. The district's fiscal year 2021 capital improvement program addresses throughout the district service area, and the wastewater projects are noted in red. Stormwater projects are noted in blue. Projects that serve the entire district or substantial portions of the district are noted in the table on the upper left-hand corner of this map. The numbers on the map reference the specific page numbers of the projects as shown in the CRP budget supplement, which will be available on the district's website after the budget adoption. And finally, some of the benefits that of this year's capital improvement program of the fiscal year 2021, we will be able to continue the consent decree compliance efforts of the district. we'll be able to continue our combined sewer overflow volume reduction green infrastructure program. These projects will address numerous building backups and system surcharging. It will allow for the removal of 12 sanitary sewer overflow structures. We will be constructing a total of 35,000 feet of sanitary sewers. We will rehabilitate approximately 50 miles of sanitary sewers. We will begin the construction of the Lower Merrimack Tunnel System, and we will address stormwater erosion and flooding issues at a total of 65 locations throughout the district. I thank you for your attention. This presentation, the handouts, and the accompanying script will be posted on the district's website for your access. I will now turn the program back over to Director of Finance, Marion G.
Thank you, Rich. I'll now present the district's sources and uses of funding to support the proposed expenditures for fiscal year 2021. For fiscal year 2021, MSD will collect one type of user charge, a wastewater user charge. The proposed wastewater user charge for fiscal year 2021 are expected to generate $433.3 million in revenue for operations and wastewater infrastructure improvement and replacement purposes. This revenue will fund the following components of the district's 2021 budget. Operating budget of $192.8 million, our debt service budget of $120 million, and our CRP capital program of $120.5 million, for a total of $433.3 million. The chart on the next slide outlines the components of the wastewater user charge anticipated to drive the majority of the district's revenues in the upcoming year. The column on the left describes the type of charge, and the column on the right indicates the rate for each component of the total wastewater user charge to be effective October the 1st of 2020. The first component of the wastewater user charge consists of a $26.40 monthly base charge paid by all customers. Customers are also billed on the volume of water receiving sanitary treatment. For properties without a water meter, the fiscal year 2021 volume charge is based on an average level of water usage associated with the following property attributes: a room charge of $2.95 per room per month, a water closet charge of $11.02 per month, bath and shower charge of $9.19 per month. The volume charge for those customers with the water meter is based on measured increments of 100 cubic feet of water usage, or CCF. The fiscal year 2021 metered wastewater volume charge is $5 per CCF used. The metered volume for single-family residential customers will continue to be based on average winter quarter water usage, as this method provides the most accurate measurement of water actually entering the sewer system by not including water used in the spring and summer to fill pools, water lawns, or wash cars, for example. The FY21 rate adjustment will be effective October the 1st of 2020, which is a 3-month delay from the normal rate change on July 1st in prior years. The monthly wastewater bill for the typical single-family residential MSD customer using 6 CCFs of water will be approximately $56.40. A monthly compliance charge is paid by all MSD commercial and industrial customers. The compliance charge consists of 5 tiers based on testing and sampling requirements to determine the quality of water inflow or outflow. In FY21, effective October the 1st of 2020, the charge for tier 1 is $4.44. Tier 2 is $62.16. Tier 3 is $133.20. Tier 4 is $177.60. And Tier 5 is $222. 96% of approximately 24,200 commercial customers are billed at the Tier 1 rate. The district's wastewater usage charge also includes an extra strength surcharge, which only applies to industrial customers or industrial users. The district currently assesses 3 extra strength surcharges, each with specific thresholds. These charges are applied to treat sewage with extra strength waste over and above the amount predefined as normal strength wastewater generated by a typical residential household. Each of these 3 rates will be effective October the 1st of 2020. The first of the 3 extra strength surcharges is applied to remove extra strength suspended solids greater than 300 milligrams per liter. The suspended solids surcharge for fiscal year 2021 will be $302.67 per ton. The second extra strength surcharge is applied to treat water with an extra strength biochemical oxygen demand, or BOD, greater than 300 milligrams per liter. The BOD surcharge for fiscal year 2021 will be $812.94 per ton. The third extra strength surcharge is applied to treat water with extra strength chemical oxygen demand, or COD, greater than 600 milligrams per liter. The COD surcharge for fiscal year 2021 continues to be $406.47 per ton. The district plans to receive $166 million from the sale of $148 million of revenue bonds during fiscal year 2021. Proceeds from these bonds will be used to fund the district's capital improvement plan or program. To fund stormwater activities, MSD collects taxes. The revenue will fund the following components of the district's 2021 budget: operating budget of $21 million, our capital program of $22 million, for a total of $43 million. Investment income and other fees will fund $12 million of the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget. This revenue will fund the following components: operating budget of $6.2 million, debt service of $1.5 million, our capital program of $4.6 million, for a total of $12.3 million. The district's beginning fund balance is projected to equal approximately $382 million at June 30th, 2020. The impact of the fiscal year 2021 budget will decrease this balance by $80 million. This decrease will primarily fund $78 million in anticipated CIRP projects and $2 million in operating expenses. As a result, the district's total fund balance is projected to be $302 million at the end of fiscal year 2021. In total, funding for the fiscal year 2021 is anticipated to equal $734 million. These revenues are sufficient to fully fund the expenditures proposed this evening and provide a balanced budget for fiscal year 2021 as required by Section 7.130 of the district's plan or charter. A proposed budget ordinance to this effect was introduced earlier this evening at the meeting of the district's Board of Trustees. The proposed budget ordinance will only include appropriations for fiscal year 2021 operations and debt service. Appropriations for the proposed CIRP projects outlined this evening will be introduced throughout the year as projects are bid and firm contract prices are established. Mr. Tim Snoke, the district's Secretary Treasurer, will now present the proposed tax rate for the fiscal year 2021. Tim.
Thank you, Marion. This portion of the budget hearing concerns the proposed tax rates and is being held in compliance with Section 7.320 of the Plan of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District in order for the Board of Trustees to make a final determination of the amount of taxes which shall be levied, assessed, and collected on taxable tangible property in the district and its sub-districts during the fiscal year July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. The Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District will require for the administration of the district during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, general ad valorem tax revenue in the sum of $5,589,570. I recommend that the amount of taxes to be levied, assessed, and collected in the year 2020 on all taxable tangible property in the district be at a rate of $0.0175 or 1.75 cents per $100 assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property. Of this total sum, $825,558 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of the City of St. Louis, and $4,764,012 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of St. Louis County, lying within the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. The Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District will require during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, general ad valorem tax revenue in the sum of $27,969,528 for the operations of the district's stormwater utility, including stormwater system operation and maintenance, rehabilitation and limited construction of infrastructure and other capital improvements, and an operating reserve. I recommend that the amount of taxes to be levied, assessed, and collected in the year 2020 on all taxable tangible property in the district be at a rate of $0.0902 or 9.02 cents per $100 assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property. Of this sum, $4,255,161 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of the City of St. Louis, and $23,714,367 should be levied, assessed, and collected on all taxable tangible property within the corporate limits of St. Louis County, lying within the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. The combined district-wide taxes levied will be $33,559,098. In the various other taxing subdistricts as outlined on this chart, the district will require ad valorem tax revenues in fiscal year 2021 for operation, maintenance, and construction of improvements in 6 of 18 of these subdistricts. I recommend that the various levies for the 6 subdistricts be set in accordance with the chart, which shows $7,964,268 at varying rates from $0.0562 or 5.62 cents to $0.917 or 9.17 cents per $100 of assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property lying in each of these 6 subdistricts, which are included in the chart and the budget document. For the remaining 12, I recommend that the various levies, except the ones stated above for the subdistricts, be set to 0 in accordance with the chart, which shows rates of $0 or 0 cents per $100 of assessed valuation for residential property, agricultural property, commercial property, and personal property lying in each of these 12 subdistricts, which are included again in the chart and the budget document. Vice Chairman Fall, this concludes the presentation of the 2020 proposed tax rates and the fiscal year 2021 proposed budget.
Thank you very much, all. I appreciate that. Next item of business.
So-
Where are we?
Yeah, we'll now begin the public participation.
Bottom of page 7.
Go back to the.
Oh, it's my very beginning one. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We will now begin the public participation portion of tonight's meeting. Thank you. Of our hearing on the proposed budget, proposed capital improvement and replacement program, user charges, and tax rates. I understand that there has been comments that were submitted prior to this for online as required. So for that, since those individuals got theirs in first, I will start with those individuals that submitted online.
Okay, we did receive one comment online. This written comment came from Tom Sullivan of St. Louis, Missouri. And his comment reads, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I think you should consider increasing the amount of insurance coverage for home sewer backups due to overcharged sewers. It has been the same for many years, while at the same time sewer bills have greatly increased. I think the coverage should go to $5,000 for property damage plus the cost of cleaning up. There are many stories of the hardships caused by sewer backups. A homeowner was in the news last year who had $9,000 in property damage and no telling what the cleanup cost was. Some damage can go higher than $9,000. In recent years, I believe the number of backups has decreased, so increased coverage should fit into the budget. Thank you for considering my comments.
And I thank Mr. Sullivan for that comment. It's well taken. The only other person I have here is Ms. Elaine Laura, submitted a card. She wishes to speak on discrepancies in billing for metered and unmetered water. Ms. Laura?
Thank you.
And again, I remind you, as always, 5
minutes.
minutes. I know. You're a pro by this point. Thank you.
Well, I think that even though I couldn't see the display from where I was sitting, I think it highlighted that there was a big discrepancy between the charges for metered water and unmetered water. And if I could just make a simple comparison, when I go to the grocery store, I pay more for steak than I pay for ground chuck. And that's what metered water is steak, and unmetered water is charged at steak prices, and metered water is charged at ground chuck. It's not, they are two separate entities, and I really believe that the base charge should be two different things, two different rates for a base charge for metered water and a base charge for unmetered water. Since unmetered water is not based upon consumption, but the size of your home, and that's unfair. I would also like to highlight that since I've become a student of sewer districts, that the sewer district in Newark, Delaware, has established a wonderful program, a park for to capture storm water. And that park has three components: conservation, health and wellness, and social equity. And Newark, Delaware is much older than St. Louis, Missouri, and our surrounding area, and they invested in their community. To capture storm water, they have a design plan of a fantastic park. And I would suggest that Metropolitan Sewer District could probably do the same. North St. Louis is desolate. Everyone knows it. But if Metropolitan Sewer District put in a project to capture stormwater that encourages conservation, social equity, and wellness, health and wellness, that would be fantastic. But the sewer district, I think, needs to address the disparity between metered water and the cost thereof and unmetered water based upon attributes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we'll look into and continue to look into both the points that you addressed. Thank you very much, ma'am. I wish to thank you and everyone else for their comments, spoken and unspoken. The chairman of the Board of Trustees has appointed a committee to develop a finding of fact and by ordinance to determine the amount of taxes that shall be levied on taxable tangible property in 2020 for revenue during the coming fiscal year. The committee will be comprised of myself, Trustee James Singer, and Trustee Amy Fair, with Trustee Richard Wilson as an alternate. The committee will submit the findings of fact to the full board on the June 11th Board of Trustee meetings. And thank you all for your time. Please continue to be safe out there and do what's best for society at large. This concludes the formal portion of our hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.